Okay, Vince, he gave the thumbs up.
Thank you very much. Most of what I'm presenting tonight you will have seen before, so I'm going to go through quickly the few slides that I have. If you have any questions, just if you can hold them to the end, that would be great. Tonight is a brief budget overview of what we've seen to date. Currently, the budget is $60,800,000, which is about a 7.11% increase from this current school year. Most of it is due to SROs, capital, the principal and interest payments on our capital debt service, special education, and transportation. Those are the big ticket items. The tax levy is up 4.52%. The allowable tax levy is 4.95%, so we're coming in about $120,000 less than what the tax levy could be, which is great news.
So Vince, so the public understands that's under the tax cap, correct?
We are under the tax cap by about 0.5%.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The slide number 5, which is up on the screen, again gives details by each department. And as I referenced earlier, some of the bigger increases are special education, other BOCEs. I talked about that at the last budget workshop. That's predominantly due to our career and tech students going to Sullivan BOCEs and Ulster BOCEs. There's a substantial increase, about 38% in capital, and like I said, that is primarily due to paying for our capital project that we started, as well as our SROs. The SROs are currently funded through the American Rescue Plan funds. I've covered the bottom part of this slide, but I'd like to point out a couple things on the top of the slide. Some of the personnel that we're adding for the 23-24 school year. Caseworkers funded through ESSER for the elementary school and P-TECH. You heard Mr. Pabone talking about the P-TECH caseworker. New for the budget presentation tonight is a caseworker for the elementary school. I've got a justification from Principal I. You should have that in board docs so you can read the purpose and the reasoning behind actually adding a caseworker to the elementary school. A 7 through 12 AIS ELA teacher. The instructional positions they will be funded in 23-24 using our ARP and ESSER funds. And then during the budget process when Mr. Chasen was here, we did add an athletic trainer to the athletic department.
I just want to make a comment about the caseworker title. So that, and Vince, we should modify this presentation to say caseworker / school counselor. So those positions can be held by either a caseworker, which is civil service, or a school counselor, which is a certificated professional, same salary, different titles. So we are looking at those two different titles to see what's in the best interest of both positions. So I want to use caseworker / school counselor synonymously right now until we determine which one we need, but they would both fall on the teacher salary schedule.
They would both be part of the union?
Yes, both of those. We have a caseworker now and school counselors. They are part of the union.
Okay.
The slide on the screen is just a summary of how we're going to pay for our budget. So we've got other tax items. That's pretty much going to be flat. That would be our pilots. State aid, we did see a sizable increase in state aid this year. That's from the last school year. We are anticipating our federal funds to remain flat. As I said earlier, there's an increase in our tax levy, which is under the cap by about $120,000 or 0.5%. And then whatever we can't cover using those revenue items, we will cover with any type of fund balance if we get to that point. On April 11th, which I believe is our next budget workshop, I will be going through all the departments in more detail. I'll take a little bit more time than I did tonight, and then I will report any additional changes that have happened between tonight and then. Also on that night, we will be adopting our BOCES budget, and then on May 16th is the budget vote, which is here in the Ellenville junior, senior, and the senior high school from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. If anyone has any questions on how to register to vote, they can reach Ms. Hemp. She's our district clerk. She's also here with us tonight.
Thank you, Vince.
You're welcome.
I know,
Question.
yes.
Vince, on here it says assigned fund balance subtotal, so we are using fund balance, applying it to the budget, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
John, you had some questions about athletics. Mr. Chason is here.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Vince a question on the BOCES, and I've said this before. Every year BOCES comes to us, it's a 6, 7, 8, 9% increase. I see for BOCES special ed costs up 8.53%. I believe I'm looking at the lines are small. And then the other one is, that's other BOCES costs, and special ed's up, am I looking at that right? 20, no, that's not
Other
it.
BOCES
There-
costs is
yeah.
20%.
Yeah. I would like to encourage us to look at more ways, like we've done in the past few years, of bringing programs back. I know you say we get state ed on a lot of our special ed programs, and we all understand inflation, but BOCES is not shy about coming in and hitting us with almost double-digit increases when they come back. And if we can pull a program or two and save a bunch of money, I think we should take a look at that.
I can provide and I will provide on April 11th the full budget detail by department, and you will see on the BOCES budget I actually show a percentage increase for the unit cost, and most of BOCES costs are capped at about 2%. The increases that we're seeing here are either due to placements or more students. For example, more students attending career and tech, both at Sullivan BOCES and Ulster BOCES. There's a cost per student to attending the program, so the cost for the program might be remaining the same. But if we have more students going, that's going to cost us more money. And also in our BOCES budget for special education, we have roughly a dozen students that haven't been placed yet. So not knowing where they're going to go, whether it's a BOCES or whether it's a private placement, I put $750,000 in special education BOCES, not knowing where those students are going to be placed. If we have placements that happen between now and April 11th, I'll move those funds around in the special education budget, whether it's private or whether it's BOCES. So hopefully we'll know those numbers before April 11th.
I also want to make a comment that beyond that, for those placements that we're waiting for, those students have been in our programs, and they're not appropriate placements for them, but when we can create a classroom that's an appropriate placement and we have enough students to fill it, we will do that. But the big piece of this also, I just want to say, is there's an intensive day treatment. It's called TTP now. We have a lot of students that have some significant skill deficits, coping issues, social, emotional, and that's a part-time position, not a part-time, it's a temporary therapeutic placement that students can go to and reacclimate themselves to coming back. And we're seeing huge increase in the need of that program throughout the county. It's just not in Ellenville.
I understand that, and I understand we're doing the best that we can, but for example, and again, this is not our fault, transportation's up 18.54%. I don't think you considered that in your cost when you were talking about the cost of sending students out of district. All I'm saying is where we can save money by bringing students back to our district like we did in the past and save money, that we should take a look at that, and I appreciate that.
Jessica is definitely working on a life skills curriculum we're gonna bring to you, so that students don't have to go out for those services. They could be done, those classes can be provided here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You have some questions for Mr. Chason?
Yes. Mr. Chason, thank you for coming tonight. I want to start off by saying that everybody I've spoken to has just given platitudes to you about the job that you've done. I know you were a coach and a former principal, and you've brought some of those same characteristics that you did successfully there to athletics without ever having been an athletic director. And so I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I think everybody's happy with the job you've done. And I know you're retired. If you could just hang on for 8 or 10 more years until we can find an athletic director. But here's my concern. I think that I have trouble with, and listen, again, I understand inflation. I have trouble with our numbers in athletics going up for cost when the number of sports and the number of students we're putting out there are not as high. There are very few programs that have modified JV and varsity on all 3 levels. So that was one of my concerns. And in addition to that, and I know you were just part of this meeting, and this certainly isn't on you, but I was talking with the superintendent. 15 years ago, I started a petition to get lights on our field. It passed by 2 votes, and for 15 years, we've had lights on our field, which have given us night soccer games and events and things like that. In the last 15 years, we have not done one other significant improvement to our athletic facilities. And that has put us way behind all the other schools in Section 9. And I just think that sometimes we move too slow. I was told we put up new banners in the gym and we redone the floor. That's maintenance. We need to start moving. If costs are going to go up, then we need to start making some moves athletics. And I was just wondering how our costs have gone up and the number of athletes and teams we're putting out have decreased. I hope that's a fair question for you.
Where, do you have specifics on where
I-
it's gone up, John? Sorry.
Vince gave it to us last year, and all I see here is the overall increase. And listen, yours is one of the smaller increases on here, but district-wide athletics, is that where it is? It went up 3.69%, and it's only am I looking at just a 20,000 plus increase? But again, less teams, less athletes. I just wondered if you could explain how that happened.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's, I know we added, or we will add, or we hope to add in this next budget, a huddle district-wide as opposed, and so that is gonna add probably $11,000 or $12,000 of that amount. So that's probably a good chunk of it right there. And I think that the huddle district-wide will have huge benefits to the program and the athletes and the coaches. So that's a big chunk of it.
Absolutely, and just for those that don't know, Huddle is a recording program that the coaches can use to help train the athletes and watch video and tape. And things
Exactly,
like
and
that.
we're gonna have that district-wide, and that will include that we keep a permanently installed huddle camera on the football field, another permanently installed huddle camera in the gymnasium, and a third huddle camera that is called a flex camera that can go to anywhere you want to take it. So we're getting 3 cameras, all the wiring, everything, and every sports team in the district can take advantage of huddle. So I thought that was money well spent. That's a pretty big chunk of that. I'm not looking exactly what, but I don't know that we have fewer teams. I'm seeing, for example, last year we didn't have a JV volleyball team. This year we had a JV volleyball team. Last year we didn't have a JV baseball team. This year we have a JV baseball team because the numbers are increasing. I'm happy to say that this was the biggest spring turnout of athletes, the coaches tell me, in years. And so some good things are happening that are bringing students back. We haven't had a JV baseball team in years, according to the coaches. I haven't been here that long, but they're reporting that to me. We had a huge turnout in the winter sports, which I'm coming back to in April to give you a little report on. But I mean, over 50 kids trying out for the JV and varsity boys team, and the same for the girls team. 50. I went down and assisted them on tryout day because there were so many modified students trying out for the basketball team. I said, it's unfair for this poor guy to be here by himself with 50. So I'm not so sure that the numbers are going down. I'm seeing some positive signs, which I'm happy about. But other than that, there's some transportation costs that went up because we had more games. The football team played a couple games this year. Both happened to be away instead of one home and one away, or maybe even two home. And they were both on the other side of the river, long trips. We had some extra games. A lot of the increase that I saw was in transportation. And we just had more teams and playing some extra dates, but a trip to the other side of the river to Pine Plains is going to be $800-900 for one bus. So between transportation and huddle, I think that's probably a big chunk of the money spent from our budget.
And did I see that administrative costs went up from the Mid-Hudson Athletic League and/or Section 9?
Slightly, not much. I mean, it wasn't significant as we talked about it, and I didn't write the statistics down, but it didn't seem like it was like $300 for the district, and then maybe $1 for.
Also included in the athletics budget, something that I didn't budget for this year, was intramurals. So we have to
Yeah,
plan on
right.
those expenses for next year, and that's an increase that was
Yes.
0 this year, and that's
Yeah.
$3,000 next year.
Well, thank you,
Yes.
Mr. Chasen. I think you answered it very well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ron. Thank you very much. I will now entertain a motion to adjourn the public workshop, budget workshop, rather.
Second.
Moved and seconded, discussion. All those in favor? We will reconvene the public session in 5 minutes.
Bill, would you-
Call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence for the passing of one of our longtime teachers, Mr. Ron Irwin. Thank you. Be seated. I ask the board to indulge in a little latitude as I deviate from the agenda for the purposes of allowing our students to get on first so that they can get home with their parents to, I'm sure they're anxious to do their homework and things of that nature. So I will call to the podium Mrs. Christina Schoonmaker, and thank you for coming tonight, and thank all your students and the parents for coming tonight as well.
Good evening. Am I on? Good evening. Thank you so much for having us. I'm Christina Schoonmaker. I'm the director of the 7th and 8th grade band. We were invited here tonight by our board president, Chief Matrician. I asked him, should I bring a small group? And he said, no, I want everyone. So here we are. You may or may not be aware that March is Music in Our Schools Month, and this is a very timely invitation to have us and a great way for our band to close out our performances this month. It would have been a lot easier to play a clip from our most recent concert earlier this month, but it would not have nearly the same impact as us being here with you live and in person. There is no substitute for live music, and we appreciate you allowing us the time to share our music with you tonight. Thank you, parents, for your amazing flexibility. Every single one of our events this month was snowed out, including our Music in Our Schools Month concert, our all-county band concert, and even our Board of Education performance that was supposed to be 2 weeks ago. So thank you all so much for being here tonight and your flexibility. Music has a profound impact on the brain. Studies repeatedly show that music students score higher in their other coursework, such as math and science, and have better social emotional skills, such as grit, perseverance, and teamwork than those who do not participate. Who wouldn't want to offer that to their students and their children? These are all wonderful benefits of playing an instrument, but let's not forget, being in band is fun, and it's proven by them all volunteering their time and being here tonight, so thank you guys. These students here tonight are just in their second and fourth year of playing, and it's remarkable what they've been able to accomplish. Our 7th graders started just last year wearing a mask, and our 8th graders endured over a year of online band, which was not the most exciting part of our time together, but here we are. And we've got lots of upcoming events. Next month is our NISMA Solo Festival. Our spring concert is May 18th. And our band trip to the High Note Music Festival, where we traveled last year, we'll be heading back this year to be adjudicated in Allentown, PA on May 31st. We brought our trophy from last year to show off. Conway, you want to show everyone real quick? I know you weren't prepared for that. You're the best. So we brought last year's along just to show off. We hope you'll indulge us. Our 7th and 8th graders last year. Thank you. Our 7th and 8th graders received a superior rating last year, which is the highest rating that they give, and it was perhaps the most meaningful one of my career coming back after COVID and getting the band back together again. So thank you again for your time tonight, your support over the years, and we're going to end our time with you with Raiders March, which is by John Williams and from Indiana Jones. We hope you enjoy.
Mrs. Schoonmaker, thank you very much for that display. You know, quite often we have athletics come in. I thought it equally important to showcase the talent of our young musicians and certainly your talent as well, and you know, show off some of the arts that do exist down in our school buildings here in Ellenville. You know, we go into budgets and everybody talks about budgets and increases and what are we getting for our tax dollars. Well, I attest to you that this is what we get for our tax dollars. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And just for fun, raise your hand if you play a sport.
So while I know that you may find our meetings extremely fascinating, I am going to take the liberty of taking a 5-minute recess so that you can probably exit and do so peacefully. Thank you.
Thank you.
The audience.
But people do watch at home.
They do, yes. That's just a little humor. We'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes of the March 15, 2023 meeting.
So moved. Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. Public forum for this evening. There is none for this evening. Presentations we did. On behalf of myself, just like to, again, thank Mrs. Schoonmaker and all the students and parents that volunteered to come down and play for us. What a wonderful job to be able to see some of the arts represented here tonight as well. Board membership. Mr. Reverend Collins.
I had to witness the play on Friday evening, and anybody that says that our school is not full of talent is out of their mind. The kids were awesome. The show was awesome. You saw things that you normally don't see. They were alive and right on cue. Even when they missed a word, nobody knew it but them. And the next night they made up for it. But they were beautiful. So I'd just like to say thank you to those folks that participated in getting them ready for it, and to those kids for putting on a show for all the community. It was just good to see.
I believe our very own Jack Henry, or should I call him John Travolta? Well, he was there, right?
There was a strange star in there too.
Yeah, strange star in there. Star 2. Thank you very much, Reverend Collins. Any other board members this evening? If not, welcome back, Jack Henry.
Thank you very much.
You've now traveled all over the globe, bringing us correspondence from all over, so let's hear from you tonight.
So we're going to begin with the events. The Junior Senior High School Student Council hosted the Heat Suns game last Thursday. Many people showed up for the game and witnessed a thrilling game. All proceeds went to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society and the Ulster County SPCA. The Ellenville Wars and Youth Commission had a job fair in the senior high main lobby on March 17th for eligible students interested in working for the summer camp on the campus. By the way, for all eligible students, they had to be at the minimum of age of 16. And what you've all been waiting for, the drama club presented their production of Grease, and it was an amazing performance on both nights, the 24th and the 25th, and had one of the best crowds in a while. And the following seniors who were in the play: Antonella Silva, Julius Maldonado, Colleen Comentino, Ava Lopez, Maya Espinosa, and Max Stickman. And on a personal reflection of the play, I don't think anybody can sit back and say the play could have been better, because in my very honest opinion, I thought it was an amazing play. Everybody they just got it down. Like, everybody was able to get through it. They all were with each other. Everyone was excited for each other after every scene. And I just want to thank Mr. Barton, Mrs. Muller, the two directors, and someone who actually does not work at the school, but with all the amazing choreography that you saw in the play, came from Miss Hillary Jackson. So I just want to thank her for that. And I know a few board members were able to attend the play, and I just want to thank all of you for showing up to the play, because, as you know, all the other students that were in it definitely deserve a lot of recognition for this play. It was absolutely incredible. So thank you very much. For athletics now, all spring sports are in full swing. All teams begun practices as they prepare for upcoming games. And finally, fundraising. The senior class had a discount card fundraiser, which will end on Friday. The class of 2026 had an Elks Lodge breakfast fundraiser on the 19th. And the class of 2027 just finished their glow candle fundraiser. And it's never too late to buy your Blue Devils merchandise. The link is Junior Senior High School Student Council Blue Devils gear, or use the QR code.
Thank you very much, Jack.
You're welcome.
Here now the news. Good job, Jack, as always. We'll move on to our superintendent, Lisa Wiles.
So just to add to what Jack was saying about the play, I also want to do a big shout out that we had many parent and community volunteers that helped support all of that, and
I forgot to mention that, too.
that's okay, that's
Yep.
okay, I'm helping you out, Jack, don't worry.
Thank you very much.
And also, I'm really proud of the collaboration and partnership we continue to have with the Shadowland, right? So they have helped with the set, the microphones, really a big shout out. I don't know everyone, but Brendan is a great leader, Brendan Burke, and we're just so fortunate that we have them in the community, you know, to support our students in not only our productions, but also programs that are offered, you know, out in the community. So I really wanted to shout out the volunteers and parents, and definitely the Shadowland. This coming in April, many dates coming up now, April, May, and June, but April 13th, the Ulster BOCES is going to be presenting their annual budget at VOTEC. If you haven't had the opportunity to go, you really should try to make it. The culinary students prepare dinner when the presentation is made, and it's a pretty special night. So I think that starts at 6 o'clock on April 13th. If you would like to go, please let Nafisa know as soon as possible so we can get your reservations in. But it is a great night. In your packet, there's a flyer with all the details. It's definitely worth the trip to Port Ewan. I also want to mention that we had a superintendent's conference day. Mrs. White will give you more information on that in her report, but I really wanted to thank her for all of her hard work and coordination, Mr. Napoli also, and really all the behind-the-scenes support staff that really helped put that together. Great second annual wellness day. We're going to continue to have it, and it's just a great superintendent's conference day going into the last 3 months of the year. We have real positive feedback, and thank you for all the hard work and efforts that come to put this as a new tradition in Ellenville, so I think that's great. I also want to say May 16th is our budget vote. I know Mr. Napoli had mentioned that earlier, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. here in the Senior High Media Center. We also will have nominating petitions for the board available April 3rd. They have to be returned on Monday, April 17th at 5 o'clock in the district office. I also wanted to tell you that the district office will be open during spring break for that period of time. It'll be closed for an hour, probably from 11 to 12. There'll be a sign on the door, but we will have district office open during that period of time. And I also wanted to mention that it's just, I know I'm going to say, and everyone's going to say, oh, we have plenty of time, but graduation, high school graduation is Friday, June 23rd, and right after we get from spring break, we get back. It's always a mad rush to June. But I do want to say that if you remember, pre-COVID, we had a situation once when it rained, and we moved the ceremony to Sullivan County Community College. And we did that so that it would facilitate everybody that wanted to come watch the ceremony. We weren't limited to tickets, and people didn't have to watch it on a screen. So only if it rains will it be at Sullivan County Community College in their field house. But we all want to wear our pajamas forward and have good weather on graduation so we can have it on the field, and it's always so magical. But we are moving in the direction of having it at Sullivan in the rain, if it rains, and only if it rains. And then families will be able to have, their families come with no limitation on tickets.
Jody?
Will we be providing bus transportation like we
Yes.
have in the past if needed?
Yes.
Jack, you had a question?
No, I just want to add on to all the people I'd like to thank for the play. I believe Miss Holly Budd, who was in charge of Frozen Junior, she helped out with all the costumes and all the pit band that included Mrs. Warden, Miss Gillette, and Mr. Bruetti. Just they weren't paid to do this. They all volunteered, including with the mic and sound people. Like, they volunteered their time to do this play. So I just want to add on to that and thank them as well.
Absolutely. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Jack.
You're welcome.
We'll move on to Assistant Superintendent for Business, Mr. Vince Napoli.
Thank you. The weather has been very cooperative. We've poured the walls to the foundation of the new cafeteria outside the elementary school. It's actually very exciting. We did post on the elementary school today, there will be a minor asbestos abatement, which is the caulking on the outside of the building. That'll happen over spring break. There are some pay apps tonight that are listed. I did apply for about $12,000 in funding for the Farm to School grant, and we were awarded that, which is great news. That'll pay for, and we actually had yesterday soup made from a local farm. We bought 100 pounds of soup, and Debbie from Whitson's made some great soup. I didn't get a chance to sample it yet, but they do have some leftovers. They're going to save me some for tomorrow. And then also in my board report, I have a summary to date of how much money that we received for each of the ARP and ESSER grants, how much we've spent, how much we planned in the original budget amount, and then how much money is left after we spent money or transferred money, which is also known as amendment, from one category to another. So whether it's from materials and supplies to salaries or to instructional materials, that's all outlined in that document. And all of this information is listed on our district's website. So if anybody wants to follow the amendments, they can click on any of the links. Once an amendment gets approved by the State Education Department, they can click on the amendment and see actually where the money is being transferred to and where it's being spent. Thank you.
Did I see a picture of you next to Martha Stewart making the smoothies at professional development?
Yeah, actually, now that you bring that up, I had the opportunity to ride a smoothie bike, which was very cool. That was part of the professional wellness day, and I made smoothies and milkshakes by pedaling a bicycle that had a blender attached to it. And I'll tell you, it sounds pretty easy, but it was a lot more work than you thought.
I would like to see video evidence, please.
We have evidence.
Yeah, but he's establishing his own business. Smoothies are Napoli, so I don't know.
Could be.
Could be. We'll move on to Deputy Superintendent Kelly White.
Good evening. I just want to let the community know that there is going to be a delay in the application for the pre-K lottery. We're going to be doing a bulk mailing so that every Ellenville resident receives information regarding our pre-K program. So the turnaround time on that was longer than we thought. So we'll extend the window for when people can submit an application or a registration form for the lottery. So I'll, once we get the date that the bulk mailing will be available, we'll make sure that that information is shared on our social media, our website, and also we'll be doing a mailing to the entire community. And then additionally, today we met with some of the student support staff in the senior high. We're going to be moving forward with a career fair targeting our junior and seniors. So on on May 25th, from 9:30 to 2, we're going to be looking to bring in businesses from around the community and also outside of our community, as well as different branches of the military, to provide our students opportunities to learn about careers that are available after either for summer employment or long-term employment. And we'll be offering both opportunities for businesses to share about what their business is about, applying for jobs, and if they're comfortable offering a space for on-site interviews. So more information to come over the next couple of weeks as we plan that event.
Thank you, Mrs. White. Move on to personnel resolutions for this evening. Upon the recommendation of Superintendent of Schools, be it resolved that Sophia Viedes, resolution dated 3/15/23, be amended to reflect the start date of March 20th, 2023, and the probationary end date of November
So moved.
19th.
Second.
Has been moved and seconded. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, be it resolved that Natalie Evans, resolution dated 3/15/23, be amended to reflect the start date of March 20th, 2023, probationary end date of November 19th, 2023.
So moved.
Moved? Seconded, discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No one? Motion carries. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, be it resolved the attached list of junior, senior high school extended day program be approved, contractual rate for the 22-23 school year.
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded, discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No one? Motion carries. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, be it resolved that the 2023 budget vote election inspectors be appointed as needed at a rate of $200 per day worked. The list is as follows.
Move the list is presented.
List has been moved.
Second.
Seconded, discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, be resolved the resignation of Robert Hannington for the elementary intramural program, baseball, softball, be accepted effective immediately.
So move.
Moved, seconded, discussion. Jody?
Do we have somebody who's going to be filling this?
We are in the process of trying to find someone. We think we have somebody, and I also want to tell the board that I'm going to bring some resolutions for some substitutes to cover on days. We weren't initially going to have them, but we've run into a couple of situations where we could use them so that the kids have the opportunity.
Can we also forward to this fall, if, when we were approving for our fall sports, can we maybe put these up for, people to apply for, so we are prepared once school starts and it's not a delay?
Yes.
Thank you. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, be resolved that the memorandum of agreements between the Ellenville Central School District and the ETS RPA Teachers Unit be approved as attached.
So move.
Been moved? Second, discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No one? Motion carries. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, be it resolved that Kathleen Burns be appointed as an assistant softball coach at a contractual stipend of
So moved.
$2,900 for, it's been moved. Do I have, second, discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No one? Motion carries. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Ellenville Central School District, be it resolved by the Board of Education of the Ellenville Central School District that the disciplinary settlement with employee number 1631, a copy of which shall be placed on file with the district clerk, is hereby approved.
Moved. Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. Be it resolved that Suzanne Ailman be approved for the use of leave under the Family Medical Act, FMLA, for a period not
So
to
moved.
exceed. It has been moved. Second. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, be resolved the following substitute personnel be appointed for the 22-23 school year. Jonathan Rivera, uncertified sub.
So moved.
Been moved.
Second.
Second, discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. Education resolutions for this evening. Resolve the attached list of IEPs be acknowledged as appropriate. There are 31.
Move the list is presented.
List has been moved.
Second.
Seconded, discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. Resolved that the following volunteer be approved for the 22-23 school year as Mark Steinhoff, assist with boys and girls track teams.
So moved.
It has been moved.
Second.
Seconded, discussion. Mr. Burns.
Yeah, I think that it would be remiss if I didn't comment. You know, Mr. Steinhoff's been doing this for a lot of years. Every time we've ever needed him to fill in, he fills in as a volunteer. He's been retired a long time. He's also, like to remind everybody, one of our former Friends of Education winners that we nominated to the Ulster County School Board. And, you know, I just think he does a great job and should be recognized. Thank you.
Absolutely, I agree. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. Construction resolutions. Somebody want to move 9192?
Motion to move 9192.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. Under other, 10.1. Whereas the Ellenville Central School District currently owns the upright piano, and whereas board policy number 5250, it's been moved. Second. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. Mark your calendars for the next meeting is April 11th. I hope everybody has a very happy Easter holiday week. And we will see you back here after spring break on April 11th. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Been moved? Seconded? Discussion.
What are we talking about? I'm sorry. What's it?
We're adjourning.
Wait, I'm ready.
If you'd have just went with it, Iris, nobody would have known. But you did confess. That was our discussion part. All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. We're adjourned.